everyone, I'm Anna. Today we're making this super simple and timeless summer top, and it's absolutely beginner friendly. The design is very basic in the best way, clean, classic, and easy to style it however you want. You can dress it up, keep it casual, or make it in different colors to fit your vibe. Even if you have never crocheted before, I'll guide you step by step so you can make your very first wearable piece. Let's get into it. Let's go over the materials first, and of course you're gonna need some yarn. I'm using Drops Cotton Light, which is yarn group B, and depending on how big you want your top to be, you are likely to use up 3 or 4 skeins of this. So one skein is 50 grams, and I personally used 150 grams of yarn. But you have to take into consideration which size you make and how long your top is. And the suggestion is a 4mm hook. I always tend to size down a little bit, and I will be working with a 3.5mm hook. I size down because then the gaps between the stitches are not as visible, but it's barely noticeable anyway. This is just personal preference, but you can always just go with the recommended hook size. Then you are going to need a pair of scissors to cut the yarn. Well, it's optional, but highly suggested to use some stitch markers or scrap yarn as a replacement or anything similar. You can mark the first and last stitches of each row. And also you are going to need it to decide where your straps are gonna be. And then you're gonna need a darning needle or tapestry needle to weave in the ends. And you're also going to need a measuring tape. And that's it for the materials, so let's start. First and foremost, let's understand how we are going to make this top. We are going to need 2 panels, as you can see, and then each panel is going to have 2 straps of its own. Now for the width of the panels, I do have some measurements here, but the length is going to depend on your preferences. So go ahead and measure yourself, decide how long you want your top to be or how short you want your top to be, and maybe you can take another top that you really like and has the exact length that you want, and you can just measure the length of that one, and you can use that as a guide. We are going to work in rows, working up and down, up and down. So we are going to start with this length. So get your yarn ready, and we are going to start with a slip knot. Hold your yarn like this, pinch it together so you don't lose it, and then take your index finger and place it in this loop. Turn it upwards, insert your thumb next to your index finger, and with both fingers you can go ahead and grab the strand that is below the other one, so this one, and pull through. Insert your hook in there and tighten the slip knot. And from here we are going to start chaining, so grab your yarn. This is how I hold mine. I twist it around my pinky and then I put it over my index finger like this. So twist and then here. And from here I'm going to hold on to the tail end and start chaining. Insert your hook below your yarn and pull through. This is one chain. Again, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is how you chain, and now we are going to chain the length that we want to have. I will go ahead and chain about 50. So we have 10 already, yarn over, pull through. And just repeat this 3, 4, 5, 20. Repeat this until you have 50 chains. And if you lose count, don't worry, you can always go ahead and count these chains. The chains are these V-shaped things here. From here, I'm going to chain 1 more. So yarn over, pull through, and we are going to start with our first row. This was our foundation chain, And now we are going to work into the chain to have our first row. We are going to work half double crochets throughout the project. To do a half double crochet, we are going to skip the first chain, so this one. The loop that we have on our hook is not a chain, this is the chain. And we are going to skip the first one and insert our hook into the second one. But first, yarn over, and now insert your hook into the second chain. Now we're gonna yarn over again and pull through the yarn, and you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over one last time and pull through the first, the second, and the third loop as well. So pull through all 3 loops. This was our first half double crochet, and we are going to make one in each chain. So again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next one. So we just use this one, insert your hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, pull up a loop, you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops like this. Again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. This is what your project should look like, and you can go ahead and make a half double crochet in each chain space. You can replay the video if you need help, otherwise you can stop the video and we will meet when you reach the last chain space. Good luck! I'm getting to the end of my foundation chain. I'm going to finish my last 2 half double crochets. Your last half double crochet should go into this first chain. Don't skip it. Sometimes it's tighter and it's harder to see, but it is there, and please don't skip it. So yarn over, pull through, and your first row is done. You can go ahead and check if it's still the same length that you want to have, and then you can go ahead and count your stitches. This V-shaped thing is a stitch, so these are all stitches, and I chained 50 plus 1 at the beginning, but we skipped 1, so I should still have 50 stitches in this row. Go ahead and count your stitches and see if you still have the exact number that you are supposed to have. And if all is well, we can continue working. So this is where we left off, and to start the next row we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. We are still going to place half double crochets into every stitch, but we are adding a little something. We are only working into the back loops. So as we agreed, this is a stitch, this V-shaped thing, and every stitch has a front loop and a back loop. The front loop is the one that is well closer to you or facing you, and the back loop is well on the other side, on the back side of the project, if you are looking at it like this. And we are only going to work into these back loops now. Why? Because this is going to give us the ribbing effect that we are going for. So yarn over and insert your hook into the first back loop. So we did a chain 1, skip that one, and go into the first stitch, into the back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3 loops. And if you are a complete beginner, I always highly suggest putting a stitch marker into the very first and the very last stitch of a row, or actually just in the very first, just to mark your stitches, because sometimes it can get lost. Find your next stitch. We worked into this one. Find your next stitch, insert your hook into the back loop only, like this, pull up a loop and pull through all 3 loops. Again, yarn over, insert into the next one, and pull through all 3. Find the next stitch, back loop only, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. So keep working into the back loops, half double crochets, and you can again stop the video and meet me when you are at the end. I'm reaching the end, and this is what the end looks like. We didn't put a stitch marker here into the first stitch, but don't worry, I will show you how to find it. So finish the last few stitches. And when you are really close to the end, you are going to look for your last stitch. For me, it is pretty visible, this V shape. This is my last stitch. But if yours is not as visible, you just have to look for the V shape. So make your last half double crochet into the very last stitch. And now again, chain one and turn your work. And what we just did in round 2 is gonna be our whole repetition. So you don't have to do anything else while you are working on the panels. Nothing else, only half double crochets into the back loops only. Let's start this row together. Yarn over, insert your hook into the very first stitch, skip the chain and into the first stitch. Yarn over, pull through and pull through all 3 loops. You can again mark this very first stitch so you don't lose it. Grab a stitch marker if you need it, insert it underneath the stitch, this V-shaped thing, and keep working. Yarn over, insert here into the next one, pull up a loop, pull through all 3 loops. And now you can go ahead and finish the entire row, and because we marked it, you know exactly which one is your last stitch. Don't forget to count your stitches after you finish every row, so just to make sure you don't lose any stitches and you always have the same number. Our pattern is coming along really nicely. This is what it looks from one side so far. And then the other side is coming along right now. Now I'm going to leave you to it. You can go ahead and finish the whole panel by yourself. Don't be scared, it's really simple. If you need help, you can replay the video again and again for as long as you need. And you can just go ahead and put 1 half double crochet into the back loops back and forth. So once you reach the end and you place your last half double crochet, chain 1, turn and skip the chain, but right into the very first stitch you can go ahead and work your way backwards. So now you make as many rows as you need to achieve these measurements here. I am making a top which is small, so I make as many rows as I need to achieve 34 centimeters. And a little spoiler, so you don't lose your hope throughout. This is what our end product is going to look like. This is one panel that I have, and as I said, I made a size S, and if you measure it, that is exactly 34 centimeters. And just one last thing, so my yarn is 105 meters or 115 yards long, which means I don't have enough to finish a petal. A panel, sorry. And you might not be able to see it very well, but I had to add another skein, and that is visible here. Because it is a little bit visible, this is gonna be the wrong side of my project. More on that later. But in case you run out of yarn, you can add another skein, and I have a quick video how to do that, and I will put the video into the description. But even if you click here in the top right corner, you will be able to find it. Okay, I think I don't have anything else to say, no more tips to give, so you can go ahead, grab your project and continue with the half double crochets. Yarn over, insert into the back loop, pull up a loop, and when you have 3 loops, pull through all 3. And yeah, that's it. Good luck. Okay, once you have both your panels and you made sure that they are the exact same length, neither one is shorter than the other, then we can go ahead and add the straps. I already added one to show you how it will look like. We are going to add 2 straps to both panels and we are going to tie the straps above our shoulder. That is how our straps are gonna look like. Okay, to place the straps, I calculated roughly 8 centimeters from one side and then 8 centimeters from the other side. And because I was making a size small, I am left with roughly 18 centimeters in the middle. But this is also personal preference. This is what I would suggest to do because the top is going to stretch anyway, so the straps are not gonna be exactly where you put them. I mean, they are gonna be exactly where you put them, but not on your body, not when you put on your top. We will start making the straps by facing the right side towards us. Now you might think we were working back and forth, so both sides actually look the same. But if you have any magic knots in your project, then that is considered a wrong side and we want to hide those. So this is my wrong side, so I'll just turn my project. Let's decide where we are going to put our straps. You can use a measuring tape and measure up to a few centimeters. So this is where my 8 centimeter mark is. So I put a stitch marker here and then measure it on the other side. And this is where it is on this side. Put a stitch marker in. I'm making a size small, so this is why these measurements work for me, but always try on and see how the straps would look on you and just put your straps where you want to put them. This is a measurement that works for me and that I suggest. Okay, let's start making the straps. Before I remove the stitch marker, I'm just inserting my hook so I don't lose the stitch. And then grab your yarn and place it on your hook and pull through. Now we have a tail end and we have the working yarn, so grab that. And now we are going to start chaining. So yarn over and pull through and pull slightly on the tail end, and you can also just hold it down for a bit and continue chaining until you reach the length that you want your straps to have, which for me is 40 centimeters or 16 inches. And I think that is a good number and it gives you a nice length. But if you want your bows to have a longer tail, you can always just chain more. So let's keep chaining. Once you're done, we are going to work our way backwards and we are going to place single crochets into every chain space. We are going to skip the first chain again and we're going to insert our hook into the second one. We don't yarn over now. Insert your hook simply. And now yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook and pull through both loops. And this was our first single crochet. Go into the next one. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. Into the next one, pull through both loops. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both loops. And we are going to place 1 single crochet into every chain space until we get back to the bottom or until we get back to the panel. I will place one last single crochet into my last chain space, pull on the tail end, and now find your next stitch or next space where you can put your hook into. For me it's this one here, and then while the tail is on your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and we are going to make a slip stitch. So this loop that we just pulled up, pull through the loop on your hook, chain one last time, and then you can cut the yarn and pull through. And our first strap is done. Now, I never really trust the tail ends, even though we are going to weave them in. Before I do that, I always just pull tightly, and then, I'm sorry, but I always do a double knot, which you can do, and I highly suggest it. It's just an extra step to secure your straps. You are going to pull on them every time you put this on, so I always say that security is never bad. So this is how you do a strap, and now you can go ahead and repeat this 3 more times. So one more time here on the other side, and then 2 more times on your other panel. We started by pulling through the yarn and chaining, and this is what you are going to do again, and just chain until you reach the desired length, and then single crochet all the way back, and here slip stitch into the next stitch. But everything is explained if you just look back on the video. Go ahead and finish your 4 straps, and then come back so we can attach the 2 panels. Once we are done with our straps, the next thing to do is to join the 2 panels. To join the panels, we are going to place one on top of the other, and we are going to do that in a way that our wrong sides are visible, so the right sides are facing each other. The wrong side is where you have a magic knot, or if you don't have a magic knot, the wrong side is where you have your double knot at the bottom of your strap. Because we don't want the double knot to be visible, that is going to be our wrong side. Same on the other panel, the double knot is not visible here, so this is our good side, and this is our wrong side. We are going to slip stitch the 2 parts together. Insert your hook into the very first stitch on one panel and into the first stitch on the other panel, and then grab the longer tail end. We agreed that we are going to leave a long tail for this reason exactly. And now yarn over and pull through both panels. And to secure, we are going to chain 1 for now. But we are going to work slip stitches. So again, insert your hook into the next stitch on the front panel and into the next stitch on the other panel, yarn over, pull through, and now we pull through this second loop through the first one. So this is what you call a slip stitch. Insert your hook in one panel and in the second panel, and to make a slip stitch you pull through once and then just pull through the loop that you have. So one stitch, next stitch, and slip stitch, one stitch, the next stitch, slip stitch, and we are going to repeat this process all the way until we reach the top. If you did everything correctly, then both panels should have the exact same stitch count, so the corners here and the corners here should meet perfectly. And when you reach the corner, pull through and pull through and pull through. Just to make sure, you can do another slip stitch in the last stitches. And now you can chain one and cut the yarn. Pull through and fasten off, tighten it. This was our wrong side, so this is where we have our slip stitches. If everything is alright, turn it back the way it was, right sides facing each other. And now you can repeat the same process on the other side. Turn the project so you have to work in the same direction. And if you need any help, you can go back in the video and rewatch this part. This other side is going to be a little bit trickier because we don't have stitches here, we have the foundation chains. But first you go into the corners, here and on the other side. Grab the yarn. And pull through both loops. Chain one. And now let's start working. We are going to work underneath the foundation chain. So here, so here, and here. You're going to see where you can go and where you cannot, but usually it's very visible where you can put your hooks. And same for the other side. You can just go underneath these chain spaces here. So go underneath the first one, on the on the first panel, and first on the second panel, and then pull through both and pull through like this. And then next one and next one, and pull through and repeat. It can happen that you have one stitch and one chain side, and then you can just alternate that. That's also a possibility. But if you have your project exactly like mine, to stitch sides on one part and to chain sides on the other part, that's also fine. We have to slip stitch the sides anyway. Keep working until you reach the corner where you put 2 slip stitches, not just one, to secure it, and then you can chain one and fasten off. Good luck! Finishing up my last foundation chain spaces, going under twice, and then chain one and cut the yarn. Pull through, tighten. And our panels are connected. On this side, this is what our slip stitch looks like. It's barely noticeable. And now there is only one final step, which is to get your darning needle and weave in the ends. I am going to show you how to do that. So first, get your yarn through the needle, and then we are gonna go over and under a few stitches back and forth. You do this to hide the tail end, but also to secure the project so it wouldn't unravel or just come loose. It actually doesn't really matter where you are going. The important thing is to go, for example, here and here. So underneath a few stitches in one direction. You can go as far as you want. And then after a few stitches, you can go back. Skip the first one, so go over it. So go over under a few stitches backwards. I highly recommend working on the lines and not horizontally, because then your project wouldn't stretch as much. So go over and under a few other stitches. And once you are happy with your tail ends, what I like to do for extra security is go under one loop, and then before pulling it too tightly, just insert the tail end, and this ties a knot kind of. And then you can go ahead and cut it. And you weaved in the first end. Now you only have a few more to go. You should have 4 ends in the 4 corners. We just finished one. And then you have the straps. We are almost done. Go ahead and weave in your ends and we are finished. And that's it for this super easy summer top. If you like this, make sure to subscribe. I've got more crochet tutorials coming soon. While you're here, check out my plush bag tutorial, another cute and beginner-friendly project. And I'll see you next time. Bye!